The Wende Neen Show. Now here's your host, Wende Neen.
Welcome back to the Wende Neen Show. I am your host, Wende Neen. We have a very special show for you today, and it is entitled A Battle with Love. A Battle with Love. This is something that affects several females throughout the country. It is something that's often kept quiet. But that's the purpose of our show today, is that we want to stop being silent on this type of issue. We hear it a lot in the media. It happens to celebrities, but it also happens to the person next door. It could be your best friend. It could be a relative. It could be anyone. But what we want to do is raise the awareness and say, hey, you can get out. So I have a special guest who I am very appreciative, who's decided to come and share her story of a battle with love. Please welcome to the Wende Neen Show, Jazz. Hi, Jazz.
Hi, thanks for having me.
No, thanks for coming on. Have a seat. Wow, you look nice today.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
All right. I want to welcome you to the Wende Neen Show.
Thank you. Thanks
And
for
I-
having me.
And I definitely want to say thank you for sharing your story today and wanting to get this message out, because we know there are so many females who have been in the same type of situation and currently in it and don't know a way out. So definitely thank you in advance.
You're welcome.
All right, so to my understanding, you were in a relationship, let's say, for 2 years.
Almost 3 years.
Almost 3 years.
Mhm.
Okay. And it was truly a battle with love.
Most definitely.
Okay. Tell us how you met and how all this got started.
Okay. Well, it started out when I was a junior in college in Daytona Beach, Florida. I decided, since I was a Georgia resident, school was getting too expensive for me in Florida. So I decided to move to Atlanta and attend another school here in Atlanta, Georgia. I stayed here for a semester once I realized that it wasn't working for me, because I went to a public school and I went to a private school, and transferred to a public school, and I lost a lot of credits, which was going to push my graduation date back 3 more years. And I didn't want to do it that way. So in the process of me being in Atlanta, I met this guy. We met at the Underground. I used to work at a career office downtown. He worked at another center downtown. So it was kind of like the meeting spot at the Underground where a lot of people would go for lunch. So I had seen him like maybe 2 or 3 times, and then one day we just kind of finally started talking to each other. We exchanged numbers. I called him like 3 days later, and we just kind of went from there. The entire time, it was cool. It was like kind of like the whole little, when you first meet somebody, calling, talking to the wee hours in the morning. It was nice. We went places, little small little days out to eat, to the movies, whatever the case may be. I told him that I was moving back to Florida. And I explained to him what the situation was. Like, it was important for me to finish my education. So he was okay with that. Once I moved back to Florida, it was still like we lived right down the street from each other, because I would come and see him, or he would come to see me. He would pay for me to fly to Atlanta to come see him. We would probably see each other like 3 or 4 times a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And when I graduated, it was a lot of support from him. It was more support from him than any of my friends, family members, just to keep pushing and finish school, because there was a lot of times where I got discouraged and I just wanted to quit.
Right.
But it was him who, kind of kept pushing me to keep going. So I ended up graduating in 1 year. I just went back and finished up my education, and I graduated.
Wow.
And I moved back to Atlanta to finish up with my to start on my master's degree. When I moved to Atlanta, I got my own place and I allowed he and his child to move in.
And how long had you all been together at that point?
Probably like a little over a year at this point.
Now, so during that year, you'd never seen any signs of any abuse, violence at
Never
all?
saw anything. I mean, he would get angry sometimes. He would get very angry sometimes, but it was just more so like, you know, he's upset, he's frustrated, and he was just one of those people who kind of kept his anger bottled up.
Mm-hmm.
But it was one of those, also like one of those situations where, well, when he gets ready to explode, like what happens next? Like how does that work? But I never saw that side of him. I just saw like, I'm just frustrated right now. Don't talk to me, you know, whatever.
Right.
So, it's been plenty of occasions where I just been like scared out of my mind to even be around him.
Wow.
Because when we first, you know, when he first moved in, it was kind of like just little small stuff like insecurity, a problem with me talking to the opposite sex, whether it was just a close friend or even if I had a cousin that he just couldn't stand, because I have my older cousin is very successful, extremely successful, and he always like gives me notes and pointers and stuff like to how to succeed in life and stuff. And it was a problem when I would talk on the phone with my cousin.
To your cousin because he was a male?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Most definitely. It was always an issue. So, I mean, the first encounter that we had was when one day, you know, he saw a text message in my phone from a guy friend saying that he was going to be in the area. Me and the guy hadn't seen each other, an old childhood friend. We hadn't seen each other forever. So he was saying, you know, is it okay, you know, if we meet up or something like that? I didn't even get a chance to respond back to the guy before he saw my phone, and he just jumped on me from out of nowhere, like just so irritated. I guess he was irritated with, you know, the friends and stuff that I had outside of him. He even had a problem with my closest friends that I've been friends with for years, way before I met him. It was an issue with that too.
So were these female friends?
Yes.
And wow.
Both that I've been friends with forever. And you know, if somebody is in my life like that I genuinely care for, that wants nothing but the best for me, I'm gonna keep those people in my life. Like, you just came along. I can't just shut these people out just because
Absolutely.
you're here now.
Right.
Yeah. So
would you say he was controlling somewhat?
yeah, I would definitely say controlling, to the point where, you know, sometimes I would be on the phone with somebody and he'd be like, who you talking to? Who you on the phone with? And I would have to say my mom, just so he wouldn't get an attitude or get pissed off with me just because I was on the phone with a friend or something.
Okay. So when you say he jumped you when he saw that text message, how long had you all been living together at that point?
At this point, it was like we probably hadn't even broken the house in good, maybe about 2 months.
Wow.
Maybe about 2 months, to the point where it was just like we still kind of like getting the place situated, everything together.
Right.
And it was pretty traumatic, because it was just like, you know, it kind of came from out of nowhere. Like, it wasn't like a push or a shove. It was kind of like a full-blown, like, just threw me on the ground and choked me, to the point where I got blood clots in my eyes from where he choked me so hard. And I didn't even know, because I saw the blood clots. They didn't appear until like a day or two later. And I didn't know what it had came from, but when I went to the police officer, they told me that where the blood vessels burst, they actually came from, they actually had come from, you know, where you've been strangled. I've had just numerous encounters from, you know, where he used to get pissed off with me, and he bleached up 90% of my clothes, cut up my suitcases, cut up brand new shoes, Basically took all of the food from out of the refrigerator on one account and threw it all over the floor. Brand new clothes, still with tags on it. And even though this is just materialistic stuff, this is stuff that I've worked extremely hard for, because everything that was in my house was everything was mine. The only thing that he came in with was his child, her clothes, his clothes, and shoes. That's it. Everything else belonged to me. He went and he put water inside of my TV, a brand new TV that I still had the receipt. Like, it was like, sometimes like when the receipt gets old, the ink starts to fade out and stuff on it. Like, brand new receipt. I probably had the TV less than 30 days.
Unbelievable.
When he poured water in it. It was just always an issue. It was always an insecurity issue, and I believe that all the success that I was achieving, he didn't like that. He definitely didn't like that. And I even suggested that his daughter go back and move in with her mom, but the mom was in and out of jail. So his daughter ended up moving with her grandmother, her mom's mom. So, it's like, it's one thing is happening to me, but I definitely don't want this happening in front of this child. Like, that's not fair to her, because she could be traumatized for the rest of her life and feel like this is the way life is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're supposed to get beat on by a man. Like, I grew up without a father figure. I never had one. When my mom finally did meet a man, he treated her like gold. Like, he worshiped the ground that she and the rest of my brothers and sisters, he worshiped the ground that we walked on. And when he passed away, because he was only in my life like for 4 years, it was kind of like, now who do I have? It was right around my prime when I first started dating. When he died, I was about to turn 17 years old. So at this point, I never had anybody tell me how a man is actually supposed to treat me. And then you see stuff on TV like you have to fight for, your marriage, or fight for whatever you have. So that's what I was doing. I thought what I was doing was right. You get what I'm saying?
I do.